it's not obvious yet from that clip, this is a rugged smartwatch from Kospet. This is the Kospet Tank M3. So as far as durability goes, we can already tell that this is durable enough to withstand pressure from a car. But to be more specific, the Tank M3 has the same US military standard 810H certification as the Apple Watch Ultra, which cost a ton of money. In fact, Kospet listed on their site that 15 certifications passed for the M3, although we don't know what exactly those are. What you only need to know is that the M3 was made to withstand extreme conditions, whether you're in extremely cold or warm environments. Divers or swimmers will also appreciate the fact that this is IP69K and 5 ATM rated. You might be wondering about the price of this rugged watch since it has the same level of certification as the Apple Watch Ultra. Well, the good thing is that the cost is a fraction of the Apple Watch. The Kospet Tank M3 costs $100 on their website and 6,000 pesos for the Philippine price. Since this watch has no problem being durable and all, what about experience? The typical smartwatch experience. Well, that's actually where the Tank M3 falls short, but I'll let you know more about that later. For now, let's start with the design. So the Tank M3 is a full metal body watch from the corners of the display down to the buttons. You can see ridges on the side that go with the silicone strap, and speaking of the strap, this is not bad. I never had any skin reaction using it even when I had it on while working out. It's quite comfortable to use. However, I am not a fan of the way it looks. Maybe it's the design or something, but in person, it seems cheap. But hey, if you're after functionality, then this is not a bad strap. Going back to the watch, there are 4 functional buttons here. The left ones are your up and down buttons, while the right ones are your back and select buttons. You can set the back button to a specific function like opening an app or starting app voice commands, which is great. Although for someone who uses an Apple Watch SE2 as a daily watch, I really miss the knob for scrolling, but anyway, I digress. But as far as the build and design go, I like it. At first, I thought it was too much, but eventually I got used to it and it's easy to match it with the casual clothes and it doesn't look cheap on my wrist. One of the best things about the Tank M3 is the display. This is a large 1.96-inch AMOLED HD display with always-on support as well as Gorilla Glass 3 protection. Usually that's found on phones, but to have it here on a smartwatch only means better scratch resistance. As far as cheap and affordable smartwatches go, this is one of the best I've tested by far. It's bright enough to be visible under the sun, the colors are punchy to look at thanks to the AMOLED panel, and you also have minimal bezels all around. So that's a great thing. Kospet also boasts the 60Hz refresh rate of the display, which may seem unimpressive on paper, but for a watch, 60Hz is just fine. It's a small screen and you definitely don't want your watch sipping battery just for the extra refresh rate. However, as much as I want to applaud, it doesn't translate well in practice. What's great though is the battery life. So with always on, the Tank M3 lasted me 3 days of use. With the feature off, you're looking at 5 to 15 days of use, depending on your usage. But even then, this watch only takes about 2 hours to fully charge, so Kospet's claims on their website are accurate. I'm not sure if it's the software or the dual-core CPU with the name ATS3085L, but I am not seeing a consistent 60Hz refresh rate when using this watch. I think I only see it 5 to 6 times out of 10, but most of the time the animations, the transitions are slow. Add the fact that the touch responsiveness is not good. I've seen cheaper watches that offer better touch responsiveness even when hitting only half the refresh rate of this watch. But here, sometimes you have to double or triple tap to activate something. Scrolling is one of the things I hate here since sometimes the screen won't stop, or rather it's not intuitive in terms of anticipating the sensitivity of your scroll, if that makes any sense. I know some things take time and practice to get used to, but it's tough to get used to the timing of this display. Hopefully it gets fixed with future updates, but for now, that's my experience with the touchscreen. Moving on, let's talk about the built-in functions of the watch. There are about 170 plus sports modes to track, from water sports, ball games, fitness exercises, extreme sports, recreational sports like skating, and if that's not enough, you can even track your elevator and escalator use for some reason. But just like any other smartwatch, this can track blood oxygen, sleep, steps, and heart rate for every 5 minutes at most. But the one thing that Kospet may have missed here is the lack of built-in GPS. So if you're going to track your steps or workout, You need to have your phone with you all the time because it'll rely on your phone's GPS. For a rugged smartwatch, that's probably the biggest downside of the Kospet Tank M3, at least for me. I tried comparing the Tank M3 with my Apple Watch SE2 by running on the treadmill for 45 minutes, and unsurprisingly, the Tank M3 was always 1 kilometer ahead every 5 kilometers of treadmill running. On the flip end, the Kospet app supports all types of push notifications, well, except Facebook Messenger for some reason, even when it's included in the app, probably a bug or something, but the mic and speaker quality is good enough for quick calls. Since the Tank M3 doesn't support the installation of apps, the only calls you're going to be able to take are from your phone number. Nevertheless, it's still better than nothing. Also, I wish the vibration motor was just a bit stronger to notify you when you're in a loud or busy environment. So Kospet, they are one of the leading rugged smartwatches in the global market as far as the affordable ones go. But just like most global smartwatch makers, the Tank M3 falls short in software. This is not the perfect hardware rugged watch as well, since it's missing a built-in GPS tracker, which makes it hard to recommend for those who plan to use this watch as a sports tracker. But if you're okay with the downsides we just mentioned, then by all means, get yourself one because the rest of the watch are actually pretty good. So that's it for this one. Drop us a better like if you like supporting the channel, and as always, until the next one, stay safe.